Good afternoon. It's 1 o'clock. I'd like to call to order the September 23rd meeting of the Oklahoma City Riverfront Redevelopment Authority. Our chairman is absent for the meeting, so the first order of business is to elect a chairman pro tem. Does anyone have a motion?
I move that Gary Myers represent today's meeting as pro tem.
I second that motion.
Okay, all those in favor, please vote. Okay, it's passed unanimously. Thank you.
Okay, she's called it to order. Items from the chairman. Any update on the Riverfront Redevelopment Authority committee activities that anybody has? Kathy, Brian? Okay. The MAPS 3 River Subcommittee. Brian, you got anything?
We will have a meeting following this meeting, and we'll be going over value engineering at Whitewater.
Oh, very good. I did have one question on the Whitewater, the river deal. I asked Dennis earlier, the FEMA floodplain issue. We got something happening on that at some point?
Yes, our Public Works Department has been in not constant contact, but regular contact with FEMA for the last several weeks or months, and we anticipate having the go-ahead from them on October 9th. And there's not any indication that there'll be any negative comment about our application to build in the floodway. So we should be good to go on October 9th. We have the bidding documents did include a boundary there at that floodway line that would prohibit the contractor from working in that area, but they've got plenty of other areas to work in before then.
Okay. Very good. Item 3 is the minutes from the July 15th meeting. I'll take a motion to approve.
So move.
Second.
We have a motion and second. Any question? Cast your vote. Passes unanimously. Number 4 is a consent docket. We have the sand, mining, and oil and gas revenue report and the Oklahoma River Corridor events update.
Move. Second.
Any questions or comments? Cast your vote. Approved unanimously. Item 5 is the primary items. Receive the Oklahoma River Maintenance Project update. Paul, you got something for us?
Sure. Afternoon, Mr. Chairman, trustees. It's been a while since I've been here. I was on vacation in July, and then we didn't have a meeting last month. Very pleased to say that it's been a very productive 2 months as far as maintenance activities on the river. We've got a short PowerPoint to show you on your report. Item number 1 is our sedimentation basin maintenance, happy to report that contract has been completed, and the contractor has agreed to re-up for another 1-year period, and probably in the next month or so we'll be issuing a work order to do some additional dredging there in the sedimentation basin, which is west of MacArthur on the river. The 2 big items I'd like to speak about are number 2 and 3 on your report. The first item is the Eastern Avenue Dam hydraulic cylinder replacement and oil change out. To say that this project required quite a bit of coordination would be a huge understatement. We had no less than 6 different entities, including public works staff, our hydraulic maintenance contractor, an environmental company to change out the oil, the Belger Crane Service, all coordinating so that beginning on Monday the 7th of July, we systematically removed all 6 of the huge hydraulic cylinders on the Eastern Avenue Dam and coordinated their testing and refurbishment and replacement. And we even lost a day, if you remember, I believe it was Tuesday morning, we had a huge rainstorm, and we had one of the gates out of commission because we kind of got caught short-handed. But even with that, by the end of the day on Thursday, we had all 6 cylinders rehabilitated. Well, actually, we had 2 new cylinders that we had purchased that we had put on, and we took the other 4 back to the hydraulic contractor. They pressure tested them, changed seals, brought them back, and we had them reinstalled in 3 working days. So now we have 4 fully rehabilitated and 2 brand-new hydraulic cylinders on the eastern dam, which we're all aware is probably the most critical dam on the river based on all the, all the boathouse activity. And I can't say enough about everybody that worked on the project. It was, we had planning meetings, everybody got on board, everybody's schedule worked out, and it's, it was really a compliment to everybody involved that we got it done in 3 working days. So, very pleased to report that.
Does that complete the refurbishment of all the cylinders on all the dams?
No, it does not. We have a couple on the Brum Dam that when we did the refurbishment and replacement back in June, we didn't get to. So we're going to do those 2, and then starting, I believe, next month, we're going to do 6 at the May Avenue Dam, take those to the hydraulic contractor, get those rehabbed, and then put 6 new ones on, and then when the ones that we take off are rehabbed, we're hoping that hopefully by the end of the calendar year, all 3 dams will have either brand-new or fully rehabilitated cylinders on them.
With 6 extra spares, is that what you're saying?
Yeah,
Okay.
with spares. So, but anyway, these are just some pictures. This shows the hydraulic power unit. It holds 1,500 gallons of hydraulic fluid that had to be systematically flushed out of the unit and out of all the lines that run out to the dam structure itself. We changed out all that oil, put brand new oil in, and, again, it was just a pretty monumental task. The next big endeavor that we undertook, on previous reports I'd indicated that we had some settlement at the May Avenue Dam. It was completed in 2003, and we had about 14 inches of settlement in one corner of the building that was really concerning us about the integrity of both the electrical, but more importantly, all of the hydraulic lines that run out of the control house out to the dam structure itself. And here's some pictures. We had a contract in place. As you can see, they had to cut the slab, and I can't see it well, but it shows all those hydraulic lines, that come under the slab and they go out to the structure. All of that had to be hand dug by the contractor. Here you see on the outside in the lower right, there's the outside. They put in 12 helical piers in addition to countless piers all the way around the perimeter of the building to stabilize that building. Here you can see some of the lines that were unearthed. And this picture on the lower right is the amount that we had to raise the building in order to get it totally level and stabilized again. That was a 14-inch lift, and none of the hydraulic lines were jeopardized. We had 2 electrical conduits that cracked that were immediately replaced by Libra Electric. So, needless to say, we dodged a huge bullet on this project. We were very, very concerned that when we started the lifting process that we're going to have, issues with, one or more of the hydraulic lines. We didn't have any issues at all. The contractor was a true professional, and they did a great job. They spent countless hours hand digging in there to make sure they didn't hit any of the hydraulic lines. They did a great job. So that project is completed. Just got completed last week. They just poured the new sidewalk around the outside, and all we've got to do now is send it to council for final acceptance. So, needless to say, it's been a good couple months as far as maintenance activities are concerned. So I'll be happy to answer any questions. If not, I'd request that the report be approved as submitted.
Move approval. Any other questions? Take your vote, and that's approved.
Thanks.
Thank you, Paul. Item B is to receive the unaudited interim financial statements for the period ending June 30th.
Move approval.
We have a motion and a second. Any questions on it? Cast your vote. It passes. Item C is to recommend the Oklahoma City Council approve a limited revocable rowing and paddle practice use permit with the Oklahoma City Boathouse Foundation. I believe this is a renewal of an existing contract, and there's nothing that's changed on it. Is that right, Dennis? That's correct. Any questions? Cast your vote. Passes unanimously. Item D is to adopt a resolution ratifying the actions of the council in approving a revocable for the Oklahoma City Boathouse Foundation for the Oklahoma Regatta Festival, October 2 through 5.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Cast your vote. And it passes unanimously. Item E is another ratifying action for the revocable for the Boathouse Foundation and the Canoe Marathon World Champions, which is getting set up right now as we speak, I believe, isn't it? A motion and a second. Any questions? Cast your vote. And it passes unanimously. I drove through there this morning, Mike, and you got quite a crowd, looks like, coming in down there. Item 6 is the claims. We have a claims docket.
Move approval.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any question on the claims docket? Cast your vote. It passes unanimously. Item 7, additional items. Any comments by staff? Pat, you got your report in here?
Mr. Chairman, trustees, the reports are in your packet. Just a couple of items to draw your attention to. One is that a date for the groundbreaking ceremony for our Whitewater Center has been set, and it is October 20th at 4 p.m., and there are some processes moving along nicely. Mr. Clowers mentioned the FEMA permitting process is moving quickly, and then certainly the process of value engineering going through the MAPS committee processes. So we anticipate a very exciting groundbreaking coming up on the 20th. As was mentioned a little earlier, the Canoe Federation, International Canoe Federation Marathon World Championships, they are in town. I think the last I heard 30 teams, 30 international teams are here representing all these different countries. It's really a fabulous festival atmosphere for those who have not been by to just see the venue itself and what it looks like all active as it is now. I certainly recommend it. We sent an email out to the trustees. We do have passes available for various portions of the event, as well as for the event next weekend, the head of the Oklahoma, both of which were now ratified by this group. So if you have not picked up your passes or you would like some, see me after the meeting because we do have some for you. Otherwise, the stakeholder group meeting is coming up Wednesday the 1st. It will be held as kind of a novelty on board one of the Devon River cruisers for the Oklahoma River Cruises. Blair Humphreys is going to be the presenter, and he will have a presentation with detail from after their design charrette that was held this summer. So you will see the absolute latest, greatest, up-to-date vision for this very exciting mixed-use development. If there are any questions, be happy to address them. Otherwise, I would request that the report be received as submitted.
Mr. Chairman, I have a couple of questions, if I may. Pat, as I've told you in the past, your report I always think is a constant source of interesting information on various subjects. The never-ending question of the Indian Cultural Center, you may not be able to answer this question, but when I read things in the newspaper, if this thing doesn't go forward, when will it fall back into the city's hands?
Well, it would require some proactive movement, I think, on the part of the city. There are discussions taking place. I'm not probably the one to best and most directly answer the timing questions, but I am in touch with those who are. I think there is still a way through to see this project move forward. It may just take a little different tack.
Well, I hope it never happens, coming back to the city. Thank you. The other question, just out of interest, one of your items here talks about the possible railroad between Sapulpa and Oklahoma City. and leasing part of the property, where would that station be?
Well, that parcel of land is out around Air Depot and just south of 23rd. There's a location that the railroad company itself has identified as being ideal for a temporary parking facility for patrons, and then basically a loading dock, if you will, where people can then board the trains on a temporary basis. I think the desire would be at some point, if this proves to be a financially viable venture, I think the railroad in question would seek to find a way into the downtown and/or Bricktown area as its terminus on the west, and then on into Tulsa. But this is sort of a step toward a process. It's part of their due diligence.
Thank you.
Any other questions?
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Cast your vote. And that approved unanimously.
Thank you.
Comments by trustees? I had a couple of things I asked Dennis about earlier, and I'll let you all hear his answer, but I went down by the Zone G extension this morning and just checking on some things. There's some bases for light poles that have the lights haven't been installed yet down there, and I was kind of wondering what the status of that was.
Mr. Chairman, members of the trust, there were several, probably 3, 4, 5 light pole bases that were installed when the Zone G was extended under I-40 and the railroad track. The issue is that trying to find a way for OG&E to physically get down there and install the poles. We had suggested a crane because we thought a crane could be used from the parking lot. They are not in favor of doing that. They would rather bring one of their regular trucks down there to mount those poles. The issue then is how much damage are they going to do to sidewalks, irrigation, landscaping, whatever else in getting those trucks down there. And so Eric Winger in the Public Works Department is working with OG&E to try to come up with some sort of an agreement that will hopefully take care of any damage that's done when those poles are installed. To complicate that matter, the contractor that's working for ODOT to build the boulevard, you see there's piers that have been installed to bridge over the canal. They cut the power source to that area, so I believe the remainder of the lights are not working at this time either. So they are working to correct that at this time.
So it's not just dark in one spot, it's dark all over, huh?
Right.
Is there any hope they're going to get that up and running by this week?
I don't know, but I'll be glad to get on that.
Pretty important for teams and folks that aren't familiar with that. Excuse me.
Would that include the lights underneath the bridge?
Yeah, I mean, it'd be really important to have lighting down there.
I don't know if it includes the lights under the bridge. Mike might be able to.
The lights under the bridge are on.
They were on? Okay.
That's me. I kept wondering who in the world is making all that noise. And the other item real quick, and I just noticed that I asked Dennis, how often do we sweep the debris in the terminus of Zone G there? It's not as bad as it has been in the past, but there's still always debris on the water surface that's floated up there. How often do we seine that out?
As a matter of practice, the Public Works River Cruise and the boat go down there after a significant rainfall because that's normally when we will get a lot of debris. We'll also try to address if Mike's staff notes that there's some significant amounts of debris have come in there, we'll try to address it then too.
Okay. Any other comments by trustees? Comments from citizens? Mike, you want to give us a little?
Comments.
I noticed there's a lot of trees being cleared for where the whitewater course is going to be down there.
Yeah, it's they're moving along, so it surely is exciting to see that project moving forward. It's also really exciting. Just it's not often you have a chance to have so many guests from around the world coming in town. We've been shuttling them from the airport, and it is quite a scene down there. I encourage you to just come check it out and kind of it really has a unique feel we don't get to experience too often here in Oklahoma City. A lot of foreign languages being spoken, but it really is a great, it's going to be a great event. Lots of high praise for what they've seen in Oklahoma City, things about this being the best venue they've been to, which is always great to hear. So I want to just draw your attention on Thursday at 5:30 is the opening ceremony. So we're going to do a pretty short opening ceremony, but it'll be, I think it'll be a fun ceremony. And then immediately following that will be a reception inside the Devon Boathouse hosted by the Governor's International Team. You're all invited to that, and if you're interested in coming, please let Pat or myself know, but you're welcome to, we'd love to have you there. And or if you can't make it to that event anytime over the weekend, feel free to come by. And then next week, we just go from one big thing to the next. We have about 50 teams coming from around the country, from colleges. USC is coming this year. It's the first time they've ever come. Oregon State, UMass, Harvard. So we're going to have a really big collegiate turnout for the 10th anniversary of the OCU Head of the Oklahoma. So the Blue Party is on October the 2nd. It's a Thursday this year, and we encourage you to come to that as well. So anyway, thank you. Any questions?
Mike, where are most of the folks staying that are here, the international folks? Or have you guys
Really
spread all over?
All over. We have quite a transportation system going on with a lot of volunteers that just take them to and from all their hotels. So, yeah.
Do you still need volunteers? I heard a cry that you needed some volunteers.
We do need some volunteers still, but it's everything's running smooth, but we certainly could use more volunteers.
Great.
Okay. Thank you.
Mike, real quick,
Yeah.
I noticed along the street, there's, I don't know, it seemed like there was 3 or 4 small square structures being built. What are those for?
Yeah, those are the transformer enclosures for the big lights. It's part of Phase 2 of MAPS 3. Some of them don't contain transformers, but they were constructed to match so it doesn't look odd, and they're actually going to serve the purpose of signage for the venue. So when it's all said and done, we'll have signs for each boathouse or attraction down there. So.
Very good.
And the one other thing I'd mention too is that tunnel is really being used. That's one big comment we keep hearing about how nice that is to be able to go back and forth. Several people now wish they would have stayed downtown knowing that. So that's been a really big hit among the teams. And then we also have, as another MAPS 3 update, we do have the new building, the storage building that is complete on the South Bank. And we're just about to complete the little towers that are along the South Bank. In fact, they just finished installing some of the meter markers that look really good on there. And the camera system, crossing our fingers, nothing like last minute, but they're going to be up and running by this afternoon and then live streaming tomorrow for the event. So we're hoping it all works. So, but it does look great. Thank you.
Talking about the tunnel, I did see 2 different groups of young people walking, using the tunnel, carrying their paddles. I guess they were participants.
You're going to see that all over Bricktown for the next few days. They all carry their paddles, and they're all over the place. So, yeah. All right. Thank you.
Any other citizen comment? Okay. Motion to adjourn? We are adjourned.